Namaskaram girls. So we finished the First World War and the Second World War. What are the battles took place during the First World War and the Second World War? Have you remembered that? So the America put a bomb. Yes, Japan also put a bomb. So for that they have taken a vengeance, isn't it? So these are the Second World War. After the Second World War, that is a lesson. So you saw the second lesson after the First World War, isn't it, girls? Like that same way here also, what has happened in the world after the Second World War. So new era has begun. Independence from the colonies has announced in the Asia and Africa, isn't it, girls? So the communist revolution they had in the Russia, isn't it? So that was echoed in the communist revolution in China also. So during the 3-2 revolution has taken place in the Russia, isn't it? That has echoed in the China also. So there has become two great powers. Who are the two great powers? One is the USA and the other one is the USSR. These are after the Second World War. Okay. So there was a Cold War between these two countries. And this Cold War, which has a conflict in Korea, Cuba, Vietnam and West Asia. Okay. So under the Marshall Plan, the USA has want to reconstructions of the war ravaged Europe. So that Europe had a trust with the USA. But in the Russia, they have a liberation struggles of countries in Asia and Africa, which was a goodwill of that later. The non-alignment movement played a vital role in the conflict between the two powers. So they want to compensate. So this non-alignment movement helped. After that, they started a form of council, European Council. They have formed among the European countries. Okay, the Cold War I told, which was ended with the fall of Berlin Wall. So Berlin Wall. That is a construction between the Germany, isn't it, girls? West Germany and East Germany. So the East Germany, who has taken the control from the East Germany? Who has taken control in the West Germany? Answer it to my personal number. This I have said it during the Second World War lesson. Okay, girls. So this is the introductions for after the World War II. Next we will move on to the Chinese Revolution. That is, I told it is echoed in the China, isn't it, girls? So what revolution has taken place in the Russia, which was echoed in the China. So we are going to see the Chinese Revolution. Before the revolution, what are the situation? How was the situation in the China? That is, China in the pre-war period. This is not a war. That just before the revolution, how the China is facing the struggle. Okay, girls? So the Chinese civilization, you have studied in the 9th standard. So how advanced they were when you compare to the other civilization, particularly the Europe. So Europe, they doesn't have a civilization, they doesn't have a advanced level. But China, they invented the gunpowder, paper, watermill, China silk and Silk Road. So these all happened in the 2nd century, like that, no, girls? Yes. So the Chinese civilization was very well advanced. China was under the control of the Manchu rule since 1650. 1650, they have started the rule by the Manchu. The entire administration was in the hands of scholars. That is called as a mandarins. This is nothing but who have the land They are the scholars. Slowly the peasant population was uprising. They suffered a lot from high rents, high tax. They don't have a lands, but they have very little industry. But in the railways and engineering, they had built railways, engineering. There was a discontent in the political and economic system. This becomes a peasant uprising. So in the political economic situation, only the peasant had faced the problem. The Taiping Rebellion, which was happened in 1850 to 64, this is a major rebellion which was taken place in the China, and Opium War was taken. First Opium War in 1832, Second Opium War in 1848. In the both the one, China was defeated, and they are asked to compel to open their ports. Canton. I think you might have heard the place. Canton. This is an important port for the trading purpose. But they didn't open the Canton because only they will have a frontier side only they will have. They won't allow any persons to enter inside the China. So this after the Opium War, they start to open the Canton for the Western powers. So the opening of the China to Western imperialism led to the economic exploitation. That time only this was started. So the European presence, they came. Many have combined with military defeat. Their demand for reforms from the Western educated. In 1898, the young emperor, that is, he made a challenge, he made a reforms for 100 days, that is called as a 100 days reform. But these reforms, from the powerful, they don't have much to face it. But the Dowager Empress Su Hizai, she imprisoned for more than, during this reforms, she has put into the prison. This is a situation before the pre-war period. Next, when you come for the Chinese Revolution in 1911, at the time there was a disintegration in the Manchu dynasty, and during that time only Empress Dowager died in 1908. So after the death of Empress Dowager, 2-year-old new emperor has there. So this new power, provincial governors, they want to have a independence. But in October 1911, the local army, they started the mutiny and they started a revolt. These provincial governors are removed from the Manchu garrison. Find the meaning for the garrison. Garrison. Manchu garrison, and they proclaimed them as a independence. So there was a middle class leaders. One among the was Dr. Sun Yat-sen. So after hearing all the news from the United States and the world around that, he want to change the China. So during his time that he became a president and he made China as a republic. When you come for Yuan Shi. So during the time of Yuan Shi, China was united for 4 years. After his death in 1916, new president was appointed for 12 years. So still the name was in the government, was in the central only. So when you come for Communist Party of China, so during this time 1917 Russian Revolution has taken place, and popular person Karl Marx and Lenin become popular that time. So that created in the China to have a Communist Party. So in 1918 there was a Society for the Study of Marxism. They introduced in the Peking University. So in 1918, what are the Marxism theory? They started to study in the Peking University. Next, Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong is a student of the Peking University. He also attended the studying of the Marxism. So when you come for Dr. Sun Yat-sen, I'll say the detail for him. He was born in poor family near Canton. His father was a father of modern China. He is called as a father of modern China because he educated a mission school and he became a Christian. He trained a doctor of medicine in Hong Kong. He shows the interest in the politics. He took part in a rising against the Manchu in 1895. In 1905, he founded at Tokyo the political party, which is in 1912 became the Kuomintang Party. So Dr. Sun Yat-sen's three principles: nationalism, democracy and people's livelihood with socialism. This three is the main objective of the Dr. Sun Yat-sen. And I said Mao Zedong, he studied about this Society of the Marxism, studying of the Marxism. He was a student. I'll say his family detail. He was born in Hunan in Southeast Asia. His father was a wealthy peasant and he gave the support of the Manchu. He was fond of reading, showing his ability, and he was a junior college at Changsha. So in the 1911, when the revolution has broke out in China, Mao joined a revolutionary army, but he left and he enrolled in the teacher training college in Changsha. So Mao became full-fledged political activities in Hunan, and he became a staunch communist. Staunch communist means தீவிரமா இருக்கிறதுன்னு சொல்லுவோம்ல. Staunch communist. He was a staunch communist, and after that Kuomintang and Chiang Kai-shek. Kuomintang is a party which was started by the Dr. Sun Yat-sen, isn't it, girls? So after the death of Sun Yat-sen, Chiang Kai-shek became the leader for the Kuomintang party, whereas Mao Zedong becomes a leader for the Communist Party. So, Communist Party, particularly Zhou Enlai. So, Chiang Kai removed all the three important positions in the party. They influenced the workers and the peasants to recruits for their army. They show their interest in the landlords and capitalists. In 1928, he was successful in capturing the Peking. So there was a central government in China. Next, Mao as an organizer of peasants. So there was a competitive between the Kuomintang and the Communist Party. Mao said he started to spread out in the village side, but Kuomintang shows the interest and they start to organize a peasantry. Many hundred peoples of Communist Party have stayed with him. So Kuomintang, she's going around the cities only, but Mao Se, he started to move on to the mountains. Mountains means there also people are there, no? So he started to collect the people and ask the problems. So, but Kuomintang, they couldn't penetrate through the mountains. So the Chiang Kai-shek has to deal, because Japan almost they have a threat for the China. So this is a challenge for the Chiang Kai-shek. Okay, girls. So they have a long march. In 1933, Mao Zedong had gained the full control of the people. In 1934, he started a march with 1 lakh people. 20,000 people only at last. Finally, they have reached. In 1935, they crossed 6,000 miles. In 1937, Mao Zedong became a leader, famous leader. Okay, girls, this is how the long march has taken place. So the communist armies, they formed together for the Mao Zedong as a leader for the over 10 million people. Next, Japanese aggression. During the Chiang Kai-shek, often Japan's attacking, isn't it? As I told no. So in the Japanese aggression, the both. So when anybody comes from outside, so inside our country we have to be united. This was lost in our country, so that only British have entered into our country. So here in China, the communist and the Kuomintang joined together with a Manchurian military base. They both join together and they start to resist against the Japan. So Japan makes under their control. So automatically the Japan came under their control, and Kuomintang, they started to fight with the Japan. So as a pragmatic policy, they start to attack the communist. This is a Japanese aggression. When you come for communist victory, how the communists getting the victory? So they surrender the Japan in 1945. Both the Kuomintang and the communists, they started to occupy the Japanese areas. So Kuomintang was very successful. The cities and the railways has taken under the control of the Kuomintang. And the in and around of the Peking, so they were controlled by the Chiang Kai-shek force. But they got the help from the military by the USA. So USA has involved in this to help the Chiang Kai-shek, that is Kuomintang party. Okay, girls, with a massive support, the Kuomintang government controlled all the administrations over the China. The soldiers, peasants, they have taken under their control. They got the support from the middle class also. So they finally, at last, the communists wanted to rule the people. So already I told Mao Zedong, he has got the support of the peasants and the middle class plan. So Mao Zedong has got the support. So at last they form a government. When you come for National People's Congress in September 1949, so before fighting with the South China, the people had a political conference, met at Peking. 650 delegates have participated. Among the 650, who are all in the 650 delegates, the communist people and the left-wing party people, they both have together joined in the conference. They elected the governor council as Mao Se asked. leader or chairman, not leader, now he has become a chairman. So the People's Republic of China under the leadership of the Mao Zedong, this became a important event in China. So there were two mighty communist powers in the world. One is in Russia, the other one is in China. Isn't it, girls? And they don't get the membership in the UNO. Already I said UNO, they have 5 permanent members. For 20 years, they don't get the recognition of People's Republic of China for more than 20 years. Okay, this is about the China. And when you come for the Cold War, Truman's policy of containment of communism. So Cold War, I told, between the USSR and the USA. So first, Truman's policy. Truman is the president of the USA. In 1948, he was a president and he established the government in the countries of the Eastern Europe, that is liberated the Nazis. Can you remember Nazis party? Isn't it, girls? So they have a Nazis party in the army. This Truman, he gave the policy of containment of communism. He determined not to maintain the control of the Eastern Europe, but his main motive is to spread the communism. Okay, the Cold War, as I said, between the USA and USSR, they had a war, but without the weapons. They want to make a control of their political and economic level. Their ideology want to force, that is a Cold War. Okay, when you come for the Marshall Plan, he want to bring the countries of the Western Europe under his control. So he got the help from the country of Europe with American dollars. So when you give the American dollars, they automatically, the Europe will facilitate. They can use it. So that they are, because during the Second World War, they had distractions. So America is helping the money to the European countries. So this make a help for the Marshall Plan. This is a Marshall Plan. Next, the poverty, unemployment, as usual, the same. After the war, this all they have faced by the country, not only particular country, all over the world. So this George Marshall, he gave the ideas of the European to finance by the United States. So 16 nations became part of this program. Through the administrative and technical, so Economic Cooperation Administration was formed under the leadership of the Marshall Plan, which is ended in 1951. Okay, girls. Next, we are going to formation of military alliances. So how they are helping for each other through the military support. That is the military alliance. First one is the NATO. This NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Why these have formed? To resist the Soviet aggression in Europe in 1949. So they are helping among the countries, North America and Europe. The countries are Canada, Belgium, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, United Kingdom. All these countries are helping each other to resist the USSR. So later Greece and Turkey was joined in the year 1952 and Germany was joined in 1955. Their main objective was to maintain the peace and security in North Atlantic region, so that only they have the alliance. Okay. Next, when you come for SEATO, otherwise it is called as a Manila Pact. This is a Southeast Asia Treaty Organization which is collectively security for the countries, particularly in Southeast Asia. So this is signed in the 1954. Which country all have signed? US, France, England, New Zealand, Australia, Philippines, Thailand and Pakistan. So these countries have signed the treaty. They want to prevent communism from all over the that is spreading over the world. This is the main motive of the NATO and the SEATO. Next, Warsaw Pact, which was signed in the December 1954. They had 8 European nations has participated in this one. Albania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Germany, Poland. All these countries have met, and they have met in that Moscow. They concluded a treaty on May 14, 1955. This is known as the Warsaw Pact. They only want to have the help of the armed forces with headquarters in Moscow. But this was dissolved in 1991. The last one is CENTO. In 1955, Turkey, Iraq, Great Britain, Pakistan and Iran signed this pact. This is known as Baghdad Pact. In 1958, USA has joined this organization. After that only it comes to called as a Central Treaty Organization, CENTO. Before that it is called as a Baghdad. And in 1958, they have joined together, but it is dissolved in 1979. So, the military alliances, how the Cold War between the USA and USSR, all these you have comes to know that, girls. Thank you, girls.